Welcome back to the Let's Figure It Out channel. Today we're going to do some wood turning. Okay, so let's grab some wood, get over to the lathe, and get started. Little problem. I don't have any wood. That's my wood pile over there for my heater that's going right now, because it is a whopping 40 degrees in here, and I don't have a lathe. So we're going to try to do something that I've never done before and that I don't have the equipment to do. Well, let's go figure it out. Okay, so just in case you think I'm kidding, there's my lathe. Well, there's the spot where I'm gonna put the lathe, okay? I don't own a lathe. I've never used a lathe. I take that back. In high school, I took a metal shop and I ran a metal lathe in 1978, okay? And I don't even think I've touched a wood lathe ever in my life. But it's something I wanted to do, and if I'm gonna do it, I gotta figure out how to do it. So on to the next step. We're going to establish some parameters. We're going to define those parameters, and that's going to help us make the selection process of which piece of equipment we're going to buy. The first two videos, this is going to be a 4-part video series. The first video, it's going to be short, it's going to be the selection process. My thought process that I went through to select and buy the equipment. The next one is going to be an unboxing and setting it up. And I'm going to give you it's not going to be a review, but I'm going to give you my first impressions of the equipment. A lot of times when you get a piece of equipment in, just the way it's packaged kind of gives you a heads up. The third video, I'm actually going to attempt to turn some wood. And then the fourth and final video will be on finishing. So hopefully at the end of this 4-part series, I will have done two things. Made some firewood and hopefully made a vase. So with all that in mind, first thing we need to do is figure out what type of equipment we need to buy. So let's start the selection process. Let me tell you a little bit about me and how I think on these things. If I'm going to do a job, I have to set the parameters. What am I going to do? What am I not going to do? I've learned over the years that if I deviate from these, the price goes through the roof, and at the end of the day, I may not be happy. So what I do is, in this particular case, I establish 4 sets of criteria that would help me in the decision-making process. And I've got notes here that I'm going to have to refer to, and I'll see how much of this stuff I can put down in the comment section below, or in the description section below. And if you have questions on it, just let me know. And anyway, first one, there's 4. The first one is, what am I interested in making and what am I not interested in making? I'm not interested in turning big, long pieces, okay? What I am interested in making are vases, bowls, platters, stuff like that, okay? The reason for that, I really want to make vases. Okay, I like flowers. Flowers need vases. This goes back to when I was a kid. My parents would take me to the cemetery, and but on the way there, we would stop and buy flowers. Well, you didn't run down to H-E-B or Kroger's or King Soopers and buy flowers back then. You stopped at a roadside stand and bought flowers. These roadside stands look like fireworks stands of today. That's what they were, overflowing with flowers. And just that memory just has always stuck with me. But I've always been too busy to deal with it. So I don't know if I'll ever have time to grow flowers. So the next best thing, I can make stuff that the flowers go in vases. Number 2, how big is each item going to be? And this gets into when selecting a wood lathe, kind of the center of the spindle down to the bed. Okay, I've already established I don't want a really long one. And I can't see turning anything more than 12 to 16 inches, okay? So that's point number 2. Number 3, how many of each type am I going to make? This is important. If you're going to make 1 or 2, you don't need a profiler. There's a lot of stuff you simply just don't need. I'm going to be making 1 or 2. Well, maybe 5, because I have 5 daughters, and if one daughter goes into the house of another daughter and sees something she likes, I may have to make more. Number 4, manufacturer. Manufacturer is important. Manufacturer's name recognition is important, and their resale value. The reason that's important is we live out here in the country. So out here in the country, when you pass, you don't throw your surviving relatives don't throw your stuff on eBay or whatever, one of those services. They have an auction. They have an estate auction. Company comes in, and everybody for 10 miles around comes over and buys all your stuff. So it's important that I buy stuff that's fairly good quality, but not overpriced. If I buy a $10,000 wood lathe, and 20 years from now when I pass, they get $500 for it, it really would have been a waste. Okay, so you want a decent quality machine, but not too much. Okay, so we've established our parameters, and it was time to really start looking at where I need to head. Okay, there are basically 3 categories of wood lathes, not including high-end production stuff, because we've already established I'm not gonna do that. So there's a mini, and that's for Christmas ornaments, finials, pins. Not interested. There's the full size. I said I'm not gonna do big long things. I got a caveat on that too. There's the mid-size, the midi, that you can get an extension for. Okay, so when the granddaughter comes up and daughter number 1 says, my kid wants a 4-poster bed and you're gonna make it, well, guess what? Hopefully the extension will cover it. So I went with a mid-size. Okay, it fit my parameters. Most of them have got the height between the bed and the sitter and the spindle that would meet my requirements. Now, I don't need a heavy duty one, okay? And there are some that are pretty heavy duty, that are pretty stout. I'm just not gonna do that volume. I'm not gonna put that many hours on it. So that, some of the higher end ones, it just took them right off the list. I did watch a number of top 10 wood lathe reviews. I watched one for 2020. I went back a few years and looked at one from a few years ago to see if they're on that list, if they're still on the list today. Once you get past that initial quality phase, what are we looking at? One thing I didn't do. Well, I did do, then I didn't do. I looked at reviews. Now, reviews can be bought today, so I had to be careful. I intentionally did not go to manufacturer's website and look at their reviews. I was very careful. Matter of fact, if it got a 5-star, I ignored it. I'll be honest with you, because nowadays you buy something, it comes in the mail, you get a little card. The little card says, hey, I'll send you a gift if you give us a 5-star review. So what I did find was there was one brand that had some negative reviews, and these were verified purchases, and I didn't go with that brand. Close, but I didn't go with that brand. And I'm still working off notes here. Now, I said that some were just too expensive. What I mean by too expensive was they were in my budget, But at the end of the day, knowing that parameter number 4, that someday it's going to be resold, I just couldn't pull the trigger on it. I had to go with, you know, the next level down, knowing that, you know, if it was between these two, I just went with the lower one. We'll find out if I made a mistake. Now, side note, I looked for used equipment. I found some used equipment. I found some equipment that didn't even have motors. I mean, so, and I found one. It was a jet. It was $200 below full retail. And for that, you did not get a warranty. So I passed on it. So, anyway, I just want to let you know I did look at used equipment. Okay, so this is the part you've been waiting for. What did I select? Okay, I told you how I was going to select it, so what did I select? Well, these were my choices, and I'll list them here. And down in the description, I'll list the prices for what I was looking at paying for them as of October 2020. Okay? A couple of things. The high-end one, the Laguna, really wanted it. Had enough money in the budget for it. Couldn't pull the trigger on it. It was just too much money. If I get into this and I really enjoy it, I'll sell what I bought and maybe I'll look at a Laguna. Okay? At the other end of the spectrum was Central Machinery. We all know what Central Machinery is. That's Harbor Freight. I told my wife I was going to spend $3,000. I'm not running down to Harbor Freight and buying a wood lathe. It just didn't happen. So it came down to two. Came down to the Delta 46460 and the Jet 1221. A couple $100 difference. Most people on YouTube are running Jets. Why didn't I just run out and buy a Jet? And if there's somebody from Jet watching this, I had a problem with some of your reviews. And I could be completely wrong. When the Delta equipment shows up, I may have the same exact problems with the Delta equipment, but some of the reviews just put me off. There seemed to be a disconnect between Jet and the customer. Again, I could be wrong. It's just what I found. I decided to go with Delta. And it was not an easy choice between Delta and Jet. The human mind does this thing called rationalizing. Could have paid more for the Jet, could have had problems with it, rationalized. It's what everybody uses. It's a better product. I could have, but I didn't. Long time ago, this goes back to the 80s, we had a prototype shop at this one facility where I worked. Everything in there was Delta. Never heard a complaint about it. It just worked. So, my choice, the Delta 46460. I bought it. It's on its way, along with a whole bunch of other stuff. I'll put down in the description the list of stuff I bought, what I paid for it. I'm under $1,400 total. Told the wife $3,000. So I'm looking forward to this. I think it'll be fun. So the next video is going to be unboxing, setting it up, powering it up for the first time. I hope you come back and watch it. Thanks for watching this video.